All right, everybody, this is Will, aka Oxygenfad. I got a message on Facebook from Boris asking for a 1 hour mix. I'm not a mixer, I'm an entertainer. I don't even have an hour long mix. My live sets are 30 minutes, like the Ramones. So I thought I'd take this opportunity to give you guys sort of an overview of my music career and start kind of from the beginning and give you like a Cole's notes of everything. This is the first tape ever. This is the first tape I ever put out. This is kind of near and dear to me. Yeah, so this is all made in Fast Tracker 2 on an AST Aptiva. It was a Pentium 133. It was overclocked, actually. Future Shop tried to rip us off. We had to go back, get some money back. Anyways, I'm going to play a song off this. Let's play I'm Captain of the Millennium Falcon. This is 1 minute and 32 seconds. Ah, look at that. Got the brakes in there. 1996.
I'm Captain of the Millennium Falcon.
I remember when, there's going to be commentary on this. I remember when I found out how to do this drum beat. It was like such a breakthrough. Because when you first use a tracker, it sucks. It's like you don't know what the fuck they're doing, right? So all these samples were ripped from like Mod Archive songs. See that my song progression hasn't even really changed in the last 20 years. Yeah, so I think this is basically the song. So the song just stops. The song just fucking stops. This is a good tape. You should go check it out. Maybe I'll try to find something else. How about this one? This is off the same tape. Had like a 303 sample I ripped from some mod. Just like pitching it down. Keep in mind I had no reference for electronic music. I was from some hick town in Moncton, New Brunswick. I didn't know shit about raves or breakcore or anything like that. I'm just kind of making it all up as I went. I remember there's like a cool part at the end. That part. I guess that's cool. You get the point. So that's my first tape ever. Go check that out on Bandcamp, oxygenfad.com. All right, so moving along. My next kind of music memory is going on mp3.com. There was a guy named FX Angel. And I don't know how I met him. It was through ICQ somehow. I think it was just like, back then you would type in like interests and then you would just like talk to random people. I know that sounds like really fucking sketchy, but especially when you're a young kid. I was like 14 when I was doing all this shit. But anyway, so I met this guy, FX Angel, and he listened to my music, and he was sort of the guy that got me to put my stuff online. I tried reaching out to him a couple of years ago, being like, dude, remember me? You changed my life. Like everything just changed. And I remember I was like expecting this, like, oh, I'm flattered, I'm happy to, but I didn't really hear. I don't remember what the email was. He was like, oh yeah, I remember you. Yeah, so I spent a lot of time on mp3.com, and on the Bandcamp here, I have mp3.com stuff, volume 1. I think there's a volume 2. I'll play this FX Angel Venus Pool Effect Oxygenfad drill mix. This is the first time I kind of heard about, I didn't really listen to Avex Twin or anything at the time. And he called this drill, which I would later be known for, drillium, drill and bass, as they say. So anyways, let's play the song and shut up. I haven't heard this in a million years. Oh yeah, I remember this. Yeah, I remember this was like a 20 meg file in Fast Tracker. And I was trying to get that high production kind of vibe going. So spooky. Yeah, it builds up, I guess. Getting hot there. There we go. think it's me. Maybe it is. I don't know. Anyways. Yeah, we don't need to fade that out. It's better to burn out and then fade away. Isn't that what Kurt said? Anyways, is this shit still recording? All right. So I hope you're enjoying this trip down the Oxygenfad memory lane so far. So that was the Effects Angel remix, the guy that got me to start uploading my music online. You got to realize I was just some hick from Moncton, New Brunswick. I wasn't even living in Moncton. I was like 30 minutes out, a 30-minute drive outside of Moncton. I was living in like the countryside. What I did for fun was like fucking, I don't know, throw rocks at shit and like hang out in the woods and drink in fields and like, just fucking stupid kid stuff that you do when you're out in the boonies, wrestle, go out in the woods, like find weird things like, oh, an abandoned oil rig or let's go play at the pit. And like, there'd just be rocks there. I'd smash TVs. We'd find things to break and lots of firecrackers, shit like that. I was a hick. Maybe I still am. I don't know. So this internet shit really kind of got me in touch with the rest of the world. I know it's hard to imagine people not living that life now, but it existed, and it started to change who I was a little bit because I started to realize that there was more to life than living on a fucking dirt road. Right? Okay, this was another one. This was one that seemed to do pretty well. I don't remember this. This is called the RIAA Must Die. If you listen to that last song, it was kind of industrial influence because, like I said, the only electronic music I knew about was Nine Inch Nails, White Zombie, KMFDM, and like Marilyn Manson. That was like my reference point. Everything else was like Aqua and whatever the fuck they were playing on Much Music. So they were playing like a bunch of Europop and stuff that wasn't even like real electronic music. I guess it was, but you know what I mean? It wasn't like Aphex Twin or something. So this is the RIAA Must Die. I don't know how long I'll play this for, but we'll just listen to this.
Holy shit! What you doing? Holy shit!
Oh yeah, I used to sample anime a lot because I watched a lot of anime when I was a kid.
Holy shit! What you doing?
I think that's sampled from Yurotsuki Goju. I could be wrong though. It's been such a long time. was trying to be Trent Reznor or something like that. So around this time, I was really influenced by industrial music. Like I said or mentioned earlier, like Einstein's Nailbotten and just like noise in general and stuff. That's probably why I have tinnitus now. My God. So yeah, that was the RIAA Must Die. That was on my mp3.com stuff that could be viewed at oxygenfad.com. Thank you for tuning in. If you're just tuning in, this is the Oxygen Fad trip down memory lane, me explaining to you what I've been doing since 1996. So there's a few other things that kind of came out, but let's skip ahead a little bit. Let's get to the breakcore stuff, I guess. What are we at? 15 minutes, 14 minutes? So I was still trying to kind of figure out what the hell was going on with this stuff. I was putting a lot of stuff on mp3.com. And I was recording kind of more still industrial stuff. You know, you could check on my Bandcamp, like the first kind of 4 or 5 albums are industrial. The album art might not be the original from back then. It's because they didn't have any. My internet's taking a shit here. Let's click on Demo 99. What was in this? But this was my hit on mp3.com. This is the one that got the most plays from what I remember. Ah, yes, this one. This is me still trying to channel Trent Reznor. Listen to this try-hard Trent Reznor bullshit. Wow, okay, bud. Whatever, I was like fucking 16. I was like 15. And this is all made in Fast Tracker too, right? I don't think that's going to turn off unless I turn off. Okay, so let's get that. Where are we at right now? We're at mp3.com shit. We're at Fast Tracker 2 shit. This is all in DOS, by the way. And I'm starting to put in breaks in my music, probably because Atari Teenage Riot, I probably found an Amen break somewhere off of freaking Mod Archive. And, that was that. So let's skip ahead a couple of stuff here. So around when I was like in grade 10, I was like 16-ish, 14, 17. Yes, you go back in time. I was like 16 or 17, I think. I remember this was sort of my first release, air quotes, This is called magazines. So this, or as some of my friends know, magazines, because the album art, I spelled magazines wrong because I'm so dumb. And I printed out like 40 copies of this thing that said magazines, and I handed it out to people. And my friends were like, magazines. Shout out to Ryan the bod. Anyway, so I had to go back to the library and photocopy these things for this CDRs because I got a CD burner for Christmas. That was a big deal back in the day, because not a lot of people had them. Not everyone had them. So there's a lot of cool stuff on this album. This is a pretty fucking solid album for a 17-year-old, I might say, if I'm going to pat myself on the back. I don't know which song I should put on here because I kind of like all of them, but this one is sort of the beginning of my absurdism, I guess. This is Fax God Yen. It's a short song.
It's a new club that plays really great hardcore techno for really hip crowd.
Oh yeah, that's Surreal Experiment Lane.
Chambers or just some Kentucky.
It's a Twilight Zone sample. I guess this one's kind of breakcore-ish, but yeah, I'll put this on. This one's called Sega Gravity Nintendo Physics. We'll play this for a little bit. I think I sampled a lot of Strider because obviously, if you follow me, even on my French Pet channel, www.frenchpet.com, you'll know I'm a big gamer. I hate saying that because gaming is stupid now, but for me, gaming was like, you're playing like old video games, even when the PlayStation is cool, as a gigantic fuck you to all the rich kids that are getting the new consoles and stuff. You're playing Ninja Gaiden 2 and drinking beers, listening to Slayer with your best friends, But I was the Sega kid. None of my friends really liked Sega, but I was the guy you went over to his house if you wanted to play a Sega game and be like, okay, I played it for 10 minutes. I'm happy with my Nintendo purchase, right? But I don't know. There's something about Sega. I like it. It's just pick up and play arcade style. Anyways, this one's called Sega Gravity Nintendo Physics. I might cut it off halfway and we'll see. But this is just to illustrate sort of the beginning of my drill and breakcore kind of stuff, I guess. Oh, and this song was made in Acid, Sonic Foundry Acid. I started to get away from the trackers at this point. Trent Reznor sample,
maybe
by the way.
Became popular to like stuff that was different.
I think. Maybe not, never mind. So some piss poor attempts at trying to glitch drums, but there was no automation back then. I had to cut this all myself, This is like 1998, 99. Or maybe 2000. This is like 2000. drop that. So you get that. Fuck, there's so many songs in here. I'm gonna play this one. This one's like me screaming over top of a distorted amen breaks. So this is definitely very Atari Teenage Riot, Starfuckers kind of influence or whatever. This must have been, I think this is 2001 because I think I sampled George Bush addressing the nation. This was actually, whenever George Bush did that speech that's in this album, I released this like a week later because I had almost all the songs done or whatever. So this one's called Magazines or Magazines, the title track. Yeah, I was listening to like Wumpus Cut and Velvet Acid Christ, so I don't know. So I was telling you how much I did not care for the medium of magazines, periodicals, as some would say. What is this? Legend of the Overfiend. Oh, yes. So I was doing the breakbeat stuff and I was doing the industrial stuff, but this album, this kind of illustrates like how I was doing a lot of everything. And to my detriment, I think it kind of screws up like the listening experience to the fans. But this was like a White Zombie album that I made entirely out of two guitar samples and drum samples from the Airhead soundtrack. I had that on CD, and there's a White Zombie song on there that I sampled the two the guitar sounds. I don't remember which is what. I remember Legend of the Overfiend being good. So this is a Yorotsuki Doji reference here, so I'm gonna play on this, see what this gets. Yeah, so I called this album retroactively Legend of the Overfiend. I changed it so many times. Before, this was just a burnt CD that I gave to my buddy Joey. That was it. So when I had to release all this stuff, I didn't know what to call any of it, you know. That one's okay. Yeah, this is the one. This is the first one on this. This one's cool. So this is like an outro, because I was a Nine Inch Nails guy, you know, and I was really into interludes and stuff like that and things blending together. I know the album is dead now, but you know, I'll still do that because I like listening to an album that kind of mixes all into each other. I don't know. It's I like that. Okay, so now what have we established? Oh, if you're just tuning in, by the way, this is the Oxygenfad trip down memory lane recap of my career from 1996 until 2020. Holy shit, that's a long time. 24 years. That is the age of a child who is of age who had enough time to ruin his life. So that's sort of the intro, the seminal part of the career. You know, I was an edgy kid. I was an edgelord, frustrated edgelord who liked loud industrial music and didn't like anything that was soft or whatever. And I had some break beats been thrown into there. So around this period, that was a Legend of the Overfiend. You get that on oxygenfad.com. It's links to the Bandcamp. So around this time, I started hanging out with the guy who got my brother Fast Tracker 2, my buddy Dan. And we started a band together. I was hanging out with him and our singer Scott, and they showed me Aphex Twin. They lent me some Aphex Twin CDs. And the Aphex Twin was really obviously a seminal thing for me. So I started to kind of try to copy that a little bit. I think I might have got that before, actually, a couple albums before this. I don't know. This is all hazy. You bear with me. But I remember this album was sort of when I started doing the drill and bass breakcore thing. All I need to do is just play the first. Oh yeah, and this song, Looping is Hard to Explain, was played on CBC Radio. There's a really good story about that. It's not a good story, whatever. A short story. I only got an hour for this thing. Anyways, I'm at my friend Mike's house playing Dungeons and Dragons, and we're listening to the radio. CBC is the Canadian Broadcasting Channel, right? It's our socialist radio station or whatever, and in Canada, because I'm from Canada. If you haven't noticed already. And we're playing Dungeons and Dragons, and then all of a sudden my song comes on, and I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, hey guys, I don't want to interrupt or anything. And I felt really weird doing this because it's like, hey guys, let's pay attention to me for a second. But I was like, I think they're playing my song on the radio. So there used to be this website you could upload your songs to on CBC, and they would play your song on the radio. And it was just such a weird coincidence. And the girl even said the title at the end. She said, that song was Oxygenfad, Looping, Too Hard to Explain. So I'll play this. This is just the didgeridoo sample from Absinthe 1 over top some drum loop I made. And then I'm going to play the breakcore kind of song. But there's some Aphex vibes in this that you could hear, and it's kind of the beginning of it. And this is also another CDR release. I bought this CD for my friends, like, I think with magazines. All right, so this song is called Memory is Full, and this is from I Will Do You for Free. This is sort of to illustrate I was getting into the crazy beats, glitch beats, cut ups. This glitch VST still didn't exist yet. This was all manually cut up and put on the acid timeline because I dished trackers for a little bit on a AMD 900. I made this on. I was living above Pizza Delight when I made this album. And my first apartment was like 17. Anyways, so there's a lot of like crazy drums and stuff like that. So this was another CDR that I wrapped in a paper and gave to my friends in the smoking section and stuff like that. Anyways, check this out.
The suggestions on this side of the record.
Oh, and I was sampling a lot of records. That's Ravine.
Cultivate good study habits. Sit down in your favorite chair. The chair in which you do your
So Ravine is a famous hypnotist in the East Coast of Canada. They make fun of him on Trailer Park Boys.
I'm not here to leave your message, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you.
I think that's a chord electrode 1M. That's a Roberta Flack sample. Okay, so I just texted Boris asking if I could do an hour 30, because for you, why not? Aw. Okay, so thanks, Boris. It's because I'm only at the beginning of my career. I'm not even halfway there yet. So this next one is around this time I started to get known in the online. And I forget how I got discovered, but I know it was a net label called Odd Stim. So back in the day, it was kind of sacrilegious to have, oh, you're giving your music away for free? Like, that's unprofessional. Believe it or not, there were fucking morons that were like this. I remember in Moncton, I won't say his name, but he's not a moron. He's my friend. But I was saying the general idea of this was a lunacy, all right? Because it was quite clear. It was quite obvious that the nature of the music industry was going to happen because Napster was out at this point. But I remember he told me, he's like, "Oh, Will, don't put your MySpace address on the gig post or whatever. It looks unprofessional." I remember he told me that. And now, like, everyone's like, "Oh, my socials are Facebook this, Instagram that, TikTok this." So it's kind of funny. It was a different time. It was all uphill for me because no one was like, "Oh," everyone was like, "He puts his music online. That's stupid. I would never do that. I work too hard on my music." And it's like, dude, your fucking music sucks. You're Chopin. Anyways, so these guys, Odd Stim, reached out to me through the Aphex Twin message board. That's what I believe it was, because I started mailing these CDRs to people on the Aphex Twin message board, because I don't think the bandwidth was quite there yet. It's hazy. Find some other internet archaeologists to kind of put the pieces together for me, because I don't really remember that much about it yet, or at this moment in time. Anyways, so this next one is called This Is Hell, and this was released on Odd Stim. And going back to my whole continuity stuff, making albums, I made this a This Is Heaven and then This Is Hell album. And I started getting a lot of traction online because I was like, Venetian Snares and Square Pusher were kind of the drill gods, but no one was really able to touch them in the free sphere. And I came around and I was doing stuff that was like of that quality, maybe not at the same like mastering, because it doesn't sound that great because I was using shitty headphones or whatever. But like the production was there. And believe it or not, there was a time when all this stuff was a gimmick, you know, the drills and the glitch and stuff. This is before Glitch VST or Stutter Edit or whatever. It's like you had to know how to do this stuff. And I just had figured it out because I was, you know, that's all I did was work on music at some point in my life. So anyways, this is one of my first releases with them. The first release I gave them was like a collection of just the stuff that you kind of heard. Like it was like a best of. It was a Mask of Hayabusa. That's what it was called. So this is This Is Hell. So this was like a glitch song that I made for Odd Stim. So I'll just play it.
Me? Would you, sweetheart?
Total Recall.
much about computers other than the one we got at my house. My mom put a couple games on there and I played.
The classic G.I. Joe remix memes. It was before, I think, memes were memes. So yeah, you see, I'm kind of getting into my stride with the drill and bass and stuff. Anyway, so I started releasing on Odd Stim, and I was getting a lot of downloads and a lot of traction and a lot of like kind of popularity there. I think the MySpace era begins a little bit after this. So, like I said, I think it was because not a lot of guys were releasing music for free that kind of sounded like that. It was all dudes. They weren't, anyone that had good production technique were putting their stuff out on labels. I just didn't have the connections, I wasn't like hanging out in Toronto or Montreal or Vancouver or something like that, making friends with promoters or whatever. Like I was just some hick in a small town, so I didn't really have access to all that, So the internet really helped me get my music out there. And later I would be able to, show other guys that I was working with, like kind of the techniques. I remember we were going to do a song together, and I sent him one of my mods, and then he never ended up doing the collab. But then his fucking music style changed a bit, right? And did that too. He did that to me. He was another guy who was on Odd Stim, and he hit me up on ICQ. Swear to God. And he was asking me, how do you do your glitch? And I was like, I render out the whole waveform, and then I resample everything, and then I glitch on the timeline in Acid. And then he's like, and then he ghosts me. I thought he was my friend. He doesn't talk to me again. And then his next album is that one where it's like, his stuff was like trip hop before that. It was like kind of breakbeat. And then all of a sudden he went into this drill kind of thing. Whatever. I don't know. Hook him up to a polygraph. Hook us both up to that. And who gives a fuck about that stuff? But you know what I mean? The point is, we were doing our own stuff on these labels, and we were doing our own thing. We didn't need to be signed to big labels. That was the fucking point. We were able to make our own stuff, and fuck Warp Records. We didn't need y'all because we were doing our own thing. That's what I'm trying to say. We're all in it together, showing each other stuff, and I learned stuff from them too. So this is from the This Is Heaven EP that came out on Odd Stim, and there's a lot of drill on this one. There's a few. I think Unplug the Phone is the cool one. Let's put Unplug the Phone. Yeah. Jedi Chris from Exceltronic. I don't remember though. I don't know if you remember him. A lot of vinyl at the time, so this is sampled from a record somewhere. Yeah, I was really into the outros and just like trying to make things kind of morph and stuff. You could listen to that, but the point I wanted to show you was the evolution of my drill and breakcore-ness. So when I was listening to that, I realized that I sampled a lot from vinyls because much like retro video games and synthesizers, vinyl collecting was also ruined by people trying to make a quick buck. And back in the day, I'd be able to buy vinyls for like 25 cents a quarter, you know? So I had a huge vinyl collection at the time. And I would just sample just a bunch of crap, you know? And I got to give a shout out to Gargle Blaster, Eric, my friend Eric. Because long before this album, this is crazy. I met him on, I forget, ICQ or IRC. I don't remember how we met, but we never met in real life, even though we lived in the same city. And I remember he was like, oh, dude, I'm going to give you a CD of my music. Meet me next to Spin It, where Spin It used to be in Moncton, the old Spin It. And there was like a parking lot. And he's like, I'll put it in the bricks. There's like a thing, like a hole in the bricks in the wall or whatever. So I go there and I pull this red CD out, which was just like an MP3 CD of like all of his discography that was like in a sandwich bag that he put in the bricks, in between the bricks of this fucking wall of the building. I don't know, some James Bond shit. But anyways, I ended up staying with him, sleeping on his couch for about a month in Montreal the first time I went here. Thank you for that, Eric. I appreciate it. When I was trying to figure out stuff in my early 20s, we'll get to that actually later, because that's when I started recording my album, Contemporary Music Hits Volume 1, the vinyl that Killbot released. Anyways, so the point of the story was I listened to his stuff, and he used to sample a lot of vinyl because he has a big vinyl collection. This guy is the vinyl collector. And yeah, that kind of gave me that idea of like, I was like, oh, that's a cool idea. And I ended up finding a record player in the garbage, and I started doing that a long time ago. So anyways, that was his influence on my work then. And just the general weirdness too. His music was really weird. I thought there was something really cool about that. We're two different styles for sure, but you know, just sort of kind of, it's like when you hear Venetian snares, like you go, oh, I didn't know you could do that. I could do that. I didn't know that was possible. And then when someone shows you that it's possible, then you do it, you know? Okay, I got to skip ahead a little bit. All right, Super side-scrolling action. So this is the double CD that I put out. On Xeltronic, I sent it out to people, burned CD. I burned it on those stupid colored ones that like purple and blue, that like the bottoms are colored too. Those weren't really good because some people had some problems with them. But anyways, I'll play the song that was the big hit on Odd Stim. This is Sam Matthews is in full control. This is about my buddy Sam, who is one of the guys at the D&D place that we were playing D&D at. And yeah, we used to play a lot of Capcom versus Street Fighter and Street Fighter games and stuff. So like I said, I love my friends, and I always try to include them in stuff, even though a lot of the times it's not reciprocal. They're backstabbing, gossiping, jealous, envious pieces of shit that don't want to help me out. But it's cool because it makes me stronger, and that's why I'm the man I am today. But Sam was a good guy, usually, to me. And we got in a fight once, which was pretty funny, but it was weird. We were both drunk off our asses. But yeah, I love you, Sam. This is Sam Matthews in full control. This is a song for Sam. Lots of Street Fighter stuff in here. See, I sampled the horns from the Amen breakbeat from Amen, my brother. Because people always sample the break, but they don't sample the horns, you know? That bass line is from a Yamaha TX-81Z, by the way. Oh wait, no it isn't, never mind. Record I sampled.
Why do I love you?
Talking about loving Street Fighter. Anyways, I gotta cut this down a little bit because we're running out of time. But yeah, so that was sort of you could hear this is the threshold of when I'm listenable. If you like drill and bass and breakcore or whatever, that album's really good too. There's a lot of stuff going on there, and I started buying a lot of analog gear for cheap. I had like a Poly 200. Or is it a Poly 200? What I had a Poly 6, a Poly 800, and I had the Realistic Mini Moog. I had around this time I was getting lots of weird gear. Like I borrowed my friends like MS-20 and stuff, and there was a lot of gear being used on this stuff. But I'm still using acid loops at this point. I ditched the trackers. Okay, we got fast forward a little bit real quick. So let's go to my first vinyl. Okay, because there was a Carbon Fad. I mean, check out Carbon Fad. That was like my B-side. It wasn't like drill and bass or anything. It was just kind of like more IDM. I have a Cells Out album, which is like crappy techno I made. There's some more odd stim stuff. She's Been Around was all right. Okay, let's play something off Dimension X Volume 1. So when Aphex Twin released Analord, I mocked him by doing and by the way, at this point, I was doing these killer websites. Adobe Flash was in, so I was just doing my Dreamweaver thing and using Flash to make these really cool interactive menus and stuff. I don't know if you could get a hold of those, but yeah, it was really awesome. It was like a really cool experience. So that Sam Matthews song got me a lot of cred. A lot of people were kind of watching me downloading my stuff. I was getting a lot of downloads, and I had a cool website, so everything was looking on the up for me. I think that song was the song that kind of caught the attention of Saul from Killbot Records, who gave me, who sold his car to finance my first vinyl. I guess I think that's how the story goes. Much thanks to Saul for all the support over the years. We're still friends to this day, sending each other memes about Sega Genesis. So yeah, this one was, I made a 9-part EP thing that was to mock the Aphex Twin thing. Because like I said, being a poor hillbilly, some poor hick from Northern Canada or whatever, I was like, what the fuck? It's like $600 for all these vinyls. Is like, how much is the vinyl? $30 each? 3 times 9, it's like $100 some odd, $200. So I was like, yeah, I'll make a free like EP thing or whatever. So I had a big landing page for it, and it was like Dimension X. It was like old school sci-fi or whatever. And yeah, it was just a fun thing, just to obviously like just to take the piss out of it. If you haven't noticed yet, it's all my music is trolling and shit posting. So yeah, it was funny. It was a good time, and I released on all these different net labels: D-Trash, Odd Stim, or wait, no, it wasn't Odd Stim. It was I think Moron Labs, maybe Plain Ear Records, Post Under. It was a lot of people. You could check it out. Check archive.org or whatever. I guess the hit from this one was Call Center Girl, but it's not really breakcore-ish. Yeah, I'll put this on for a little bit. Everyone likes this song for some reason. And also, everyone likes the other song, Lead Less Blue. I'll just play Call Center Girl. nice. So I'm going to skip over a bunch of stuff because this is a pretty big time for me. 2005 to 2008 was sort of where I was hot. I think I peaked in 2007 with Remain Vital and Stop Then Start Now. I'm just going to skip ahead to some other stuff. This is Don't Do That. This is off Stop Then Start Now. This is my favorite song because I recorded this grunge part. I figured out how to do the Kurt Cobain guitar sound, and I play guitars on this.
Fear of a black planet.
Get a cold sweat! Doing it, you know. Yeah. Can I count it off? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Don't do that.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs I ever did. Okay, so this is the MySpace era. You can go check that out and discover all that yourself. I'm skipping over a lot of good stuff there. Last 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I want to talk about my new stuff. So I kind of, everything sort of died down at some point on MySpace. Just frankly, people stopped giving a shit. It went from 1,700 plays a day to like 0. So I started doing all different types of music too, and I don't think that helped. I think a lot of the breakcore guys were like, why the fuck is this guy doing like post-rock and stuff? So I stopped sort of catering to everybody, and I went back to my old kind of roots of just, you know, kind of making music, putting it out under the name, which I kind of realized it was a bad idea, and I stopped doing that. No pun intended. But I'll talk about that later. So there's an area here around Attack of the Giant Attention Whores. This is a good album where I started going back to tracking because it's a long story, but I was moving from Quebec City to Ottawa, to Toronto, to Montreal, and there was just a lot of turbulence going on. I was just figuring things out. I just finished school and all this stuff, trying to get jobs in Toronto sucked. But yeah, I got approached by Gavin Gamboa, the famous pianist from Naboa Records in Los Angeles. Shout out to Gavin. And he basically sent me an email, and I was doing rough. I was sleeping on a floor somewhere in some weird pseudo residential place because I thought I could use it as a studio, but it turns out I couldn't. The landlord lied to me. So I was there for like 2 or 3 months. It really sucked. And I was using internet at a fucking net cafe. I was downloading Linux packages onto an MP3 player so I could install it on a computer I found in the garbage back at my place to update things and get DOSBox running so I could use Fast Tracker 2 or whatever, right? Anyways, but that kind of got me back into tracking because I was using Fast Tracker 2 and I really loved it. So this Attack of the Giant Attention Whores was a lot of tracking. But anyways, I made this album for Gavin because he convinced me to start making music again because I sort of quit. I just was I was 26, 27, and I didn't want to be one of these old guys that just makes music, because I thought it was kind of lame. But I am very far from that idea now. I realize that it doesn't matter what age you are, making music is a necessity. It's how we communicate and express ourselves in ways that we can't really articulate using language. But anyways, enough of that. That is sort of when I started making music again. I'm not going to play anything from that album because I want to play the new stuff. So I'm going to play a big chunk of my life was dedicated to my friend Steve's game, his iOS game called Onion Force. And this was a pain in the ass because, no offense to Steve, he had no idea what the fuck he was doing. And he just kept changing the requirements and stuff. And it's just really stupid stuff. But I spent about 2 years working on the soundtrack. And I didn't have a lot of my personal stuff being made around that time. But one of the best songs I ever did is the boss theme for this game. So I'm going to put this on. This is the best boss theme that ever was. All right, listen to this. Anyways, that was a good one. You can go listen to it yourself because we're running out of time here. Yeah, so all that to illustrate that there was my beginnings. If you're just tuning in, this is the Oxygenfad trip down memory lane where I go through my entire career and kind of explain to you how I got to where I am right now. So there was me in the beginning, some hick making music in the freaking countryside, basically, and then getting discovered online, putting things out on net labels, kind of learning from everyone teaching each other, just kind of being in these net label gangs, and then sort of doing my own thing on MySpace, releasing stuff on my own ish, and then kind of the popularity there, and then sort of my fallout where I kind of deleted the MySpace thing, and I switched directions, and I was just doing a bunch of weird stuff that I didn't even really like. Didn't really fall into the categories that people were used to. And then I started to come back because this Gavin Gamboa guy asked me to do the album. That was like one of the best things that has ever happened, because I started making music again and started having fun making music. But then I kind of was sidetracked again for about 2 years because I was doing this album for my friend's game. But then I started finding kind of like a really good stride with sort of my old school sound, but with the breakcore kind of feel to it. I have these albums that were a 4-part series: Tensor Calculus, Born Again, Triggered, Hero Worship, and Forms versus Shadows. Those are my favorite things. The Tensor Calculus is the best album I ever did, but here's the problem, and I swear I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to stop talking. No one gave a shit about this album. All my friends made fun of me for it. And then, so on this album, I had a song called Breakcore is Not Dead. And then I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I have to start making Breakcore again exclusively under the Oxygenfad name, because I'm confusing people. There's just too much shit. You know, I'm doing all this stuff that, like, this song has a synthwave song, you know, right? Like, I'll skip a little bit here. You know, it's a good song, but it's not breakcore, you know? So as a big thing, I had this thing where I was like, okay, I got to change. I got to change everything, all right? Because this is just all going downhill. So I decided I was going to do a comeback album, like a breakcore comeback album. And I was going to name it after the song that's on Tensor Calculus as a trick to get people to go check out the album that I really like. So this album was called Breakcore is Not Dead. So I was trying to figure out what the hell was going on with this album. And I was planning it for a long time. And I was like, this is going to be coming back. This is going to be old school. I was listening to a lot of jungle tapes. I wanted this to sound like an old school jungle tape. So I reached out to Aaron to see if he wanted to help with this or whatever, but obviously that guy's busy. So I also reached out to Alec Empire, because he's sort of the guy who was the creator of Breakcore. And I figured, why not get Alec Empire be the first song on this album, Breakcore is Not Dead, to really just reboot everything. This is the hard reboot, soft reboot. I don't know what you call it. So, Alec Empire remixed this song, Breakcore is Not Dead. I'm not going to play it. You can go on Spotify or Bandcamp and play it yourself. But I'm going to play another song off this album with Schizoid. It's called Revenge of the Net Labels. So now that I told you all this stuff, you know where this is coming from. So here you go. I'm running low on time, but shout out to Jason, the owner of D-Trash, who also pushed a lot of my music on his label too. And it's funny because like I've been on a lot of net labels, but it's weird when you have, someone from another part of the world come up to you and be like, "Oh, I heard you're recording on D-Trash." It was pretty cool. Okay, so now we're at the reboot. The reboot did really well, and there's a lot of cool songs on there. I got Pazza Ram on there, because I wanted to bring in sort of my chiptune influence, which I didn't even touch on this entire episode. And there's a lot of good songs on here. Daikatana, Breakcore is not that. Go check it out. But yeah, this is going back to the sort of tracking. And mastering all my stuff onto tapes is kind of like how my old school stuff used to be. So up next is sort of my latest album. I have one that's like B-sides and demos, but that's just bullshit. Don't worry about it. But this one is Avocado Toasty. This is great. This is entirely made on a Nintendo DS using Nitro Tracker, and I really feel like I'm home now. I really feel comfortable with this because I could bring this thing on the bus or on the metro when I go to work. I could work on this on lunch breaks, if I'm in line at the grocery store or whatever, and it works exactly like Fast Tracker 2 more or less, and it gives me the limitations so I could work around and do some cool stuff. I'll play this song. This is they're all pretty good, but I'll play Avocado Toasty. I'll play Nintendo DS or I'll play Avocado Toasty title song.
Who hated on the real, you know what I'm saying? I'll put to you like this right here, man. Ready for this one?
All right, I had to fade that out. Sorry, we're running low on time. You can check out all these songs on Oxygenfad.com. That's my Bandcamp right now. It just goes right there. It might be another website. I don't know. It's always changing the last decade or two. Thank you so much for everybody who's been with me all this time. I really appreciate it. All the emails, all the little messages and stuff. It really keeps me going. Totally appreciate it. Thank you for all the friends that I met along the way and all the promoters and all the label people that have helped me. Big thanks. Totally appreciate it. This has kind of led me into other aspects of my life that are beneficial to my health and survival as a human. Totally appreciate it. Thank you for all the shows and everything. And especially thank you to the fans, especially the guys and girls have supported me all this time. Really appreciate it. It means a lot. If you want to know what I'm doing now, I'm running a music production podcast where I interview people. It is bassfug.com, F-U-G, B-A-S-S as an ass, F-U-G. So it's hour-long specials where I'm interviewing people. Believe me, I don't talk as much on that as I did tonight or on this thing. Thanks again for Boris for having me on. I'll play you guys out with my latest song. Also, I have a gaming podcast, FrenchPet.com. It is Oxygenfad, Warp Drive, PP, Bunghole, Neuralink, Tesla, TikTok, Butt Crack, Endorphin. I hope you enjoy. Bye-bye.
Always imitated but never duplicated. Oxygenfad.com.
All right, here goes.